If you're in the market for a gaming device PC, there's a lot to consider: power, size, components, and the resolution you want to play at. If you just want to play a few AAA titles at 1080p, you don't need a high-end graphics card and CPU. However, if you want to play at 440p or 4K, you'll need to consider spending more on your system. CPU is also tied to gaming acumen, but if you need more than a quad-core processor, you'll primarily see performance gains in multi-threaded workloads like video processing, rendering, and coding, not gaming. As component shortages have become less of an issue, you may now be able to purchase a pre-configured gaming system PC with one of the best graphics cards for gaming without paying a hefty premium or waiting weeks or months for your system to arrive. So, to help you get the best one for your needs, we'll show you some great pre-builts and what to look out for. Before we begin, subscribe to our channel, Bright Hustle, for more videos like this. And if you did, let's see some great pre-builts. The first one is MSI Aegis RS 11th generation. The MSI Aegis RS 11th is a premium pre-configured gaming desktop. The 11th Gen Intel Core CPU and RTX 3080 options provide fantastic gaming performance in a design that you can upgrade yourself later. All parts are standardized, including the case. In fact, MSI makes the case, motherboard, CPU cooler, fans, GPU, and power supply. This is the kind of pre-built desktop that you can upgrade, customize, and make your own in years to come. If you don't have a keyboard and mouse yet, the MSI supplied peripherals are enough to get you started, though you'll probably need a keyboard with mechanical switches at some point. Alienware Aurora R13 is great too. The Alienware Aurora R13 has changed slightly from generation to generation with a more angled design and the option of a glass window to see your components. What really surprised us in our test, however, is how quiet the Aurora R13 is while gaming. Despite an Intel Core i7-12700KF and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080, it was very quiet when gaming. This surprised us considering the Alienware is only equipped with a 120mm all-in-one cooler. We also appreciated the many easily accessible ports on the front, including 3 USB Type-A ports, a USB Type-C port, and a headphone jack. It's just a shame that Dell requires a dedicated motherboard for them. So yes, there are some concerns about upgrading the device with custom parts in the future. So if you don't want to swap out CPUs, power supplies, or motherboards anytime soon, you can save a lot of games and have room to swap out the GPU. The iBuyPower Revolt 3 i7BG is basic, but in a good way. No intense lighting, no glass windows, just a small tower with lots of gaming power. The iBuyPower Revolt 3 has steel panels, black mesh, and a largely understated design. It's smart though, with dual headset hangers and a built-in handle to carry it to your next LAN party. Priced at $2,599 with an Intel Core i7-11700KF and an RTX 3080, the price isn't crazy given today's component shortage, and these components offer excellent performance in this tiny package. Small form factor PCs can bring out some oddities. In this model, the motherboard's inputs and outputs are on the bottom of the case. So you've got to lift it up to connect or disconnect peripherals. Also, space is limited in this case if you want to make upgrades. Another great one is Corsair One i300. In some ways, the Corsair One i300 is a console-like pre-built PC. With a footprint of 6.93 inches by 7.87 inches, which is slightly taller than an Xbox Series X, it takes up little desk space. But inside that metal chassis are a number of top-of-the-line components, including an Intel Core i9-12900K, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 Ti, 64GB of DDR5 RAM, and a 2TB PCIe Gen 4 NVMe SSD. The design sucks air in at the sides and exhausts it upwards, and it's not particularly loud. But it's that petite form factor that makes upgrading difficult. Sure, it's possible, but you're very limited with space available and the sides can't be removed because the coolers are connected to them. To get this top-notch tiny system though, you'll have to pay a hefty price. We tested it at a price of $4,999, and the other configuration with Intel's 12th generation CPUs starts at $3,649.99. If that's too much for you, and it is a lot of money, you might want to consider some of the cheaper options on this list. Our last one is the HP Omen 30L. The HP Omen 30L is a large format gaming case PC that feels like you built it yourself. The latest design provides more airflow with an intake fan, sleek glass front and side panels, and still has an easy access cover to get to key components. Oh, and of course the new intake fan has a sleek RGB to match the new logo and the rest of the system. The version we tested with a 10th generation Intel Core i9 and an RTX 3080 proved to be powerful in our gaming benchmarks and productivity tests. We'd have liked to see HP offer a more powerful CPU cooler, as the single 120mm fan isn't always sufficient for the Intel Core i9. The addition of branded components is also nice to see. There are few, if any, proprietary parts in this system, which includes a micro ATX motherboard, WD Black SSD, Seagate HDD, and 750-watt power supply. That's the special sauce that makes it feel a bit more like an enthusiast machine than some alternatives. But now, since you know some great PCs, we also should tell you what to be careful about as well. Bigger isn't always better. You don't need a huge tower to get a system with high-end components. Only buy a large desktop tower if you like the look and want plenty of room for future upgrades. Buy an SSD if possible. It'll make your computer much faster than a traditional hard drive, and there are no moving parts. Look for an SSD boot drive with at least 256 gigabytes, ideally combined with a larger secondary SSD or hard drive for storage. You can't lose with Intel or AMD. As long as you choose a current generation chip, both companies offer comparable overall performance. Intel CPUs tend to be slightly more powerful when running games at lower resolutions, 1080p and below, while AMD's Ryzen processors often handle tasks like video editing better thanks to their extra cores and threads. Don't buy more RAM than you need. 8 GB is okay for emergencies, but 16 GB is ideal for most users. Serious game streamers and those who create high-end media and work with large files will need more, but will have to pay a lot for options with up to 64 or even 128 gigabytes. Don't buy a multi-card gaming rig if you don't have to. If you're a serious gamer, you should get a system that's the most powerful single graphics card you can afford. Many games don't perform much better with 2 or more cards in a Crossfire or SLI array, and some perform worse, forcing you to disable an expensive piece of hardware to get the best gaming experience possible. Because of these complications, you should only consider a multi-card desktop if you need more performance than can be achieved with the best high-end consumer graphics card. Power supply is important. Does the power supply provide enough current to power the hardware inside? In most cases, the answer is yes, but there are some exceptions, especially if you intend to overclock a CPU. Also, pay attention to whether the power supply will provide enough power for future upgrades to GPUs and other components. The size of the case and the expansion options differ drastically between the models we selected. Graphics cards, including NVIDIA's RTX 3090, RTX 3080, and RTX 3070 GPUs, are still hard to come by, though supply and prices are improving. Some of our NVIDIA-based picks still have the last generation cards, but if you're patient or keep checking back, you may be able to find them with the latest and the greatest. For most people, budget plays the biggest role in their desktop buying decisions. Sometimes you can find good deals from major vendors when they're on sale, but then you've got to rely on components chosen by manufacturers like HP, Lenovo, or Dell. The beauty of a custom-built PC is that you can adjust the configuration of the components until it fits your budget and needs. However, we're happy to report that more builds than ever come with a standardized component, so you can upgrade them later. Intel's Alder Lake CPUs are here, and AMD is announcing its Ryzen 7000 processors based on Zen 4, which will likely hit the market later this year. So we should see new PCs later on in the year. And with that, you are now ready to get the best pre-built PC you need. For more videos like this, you can always subscribe to our channel, Bright Hustle, and we'll see you in the next videos. Have a great day, and goodbye.